Oh, athletics LLC. Oh, how every week serve something new and exciting. Ah, we're back.
We
Another fun
we
episode. What?
we come on with you laughing almost
Every
every
time.
week.
Because
Yes.
every time there's
Uh,
no way that I can't not get something to go wrong or right. And 4 years later, you think I would have get it right. I don't at all, ever. But that's whatever. Details.
Part of that
Details.
West Coast charm, you
I
know.
guess. I mean, keep everybody on their feet.
That's right.
Keep them guessing. You ask my son. We just had a whole conversation tonight. Keep them guessing. Keep them guessing. So, anyhow, speaking of West Coast, Clyde, how are you tonight?
you know, back at work, still on Euro time, struggling to stay awake. Got new dig, Team Under Armour, right?
Team Under Armour. Okay.
Just trying to get through this chaos and get the season started.
About that day for everybody. Governor, how are you today, sir? Tonight, sir?
Well, my daughter decided to give me a cold. How can I refuse a hug? How? Can't do it. Okay.
Oh.
Daddy, try this. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. First day of practice, very interesting. In between coughing, I'm shouting out instructions. Uh pretty good day. You kind of see uh what the future holds and how ugly that looks like. And the present, which thankfully nobody has fallen off the wagon from the summertime. So a good mix of both. Uh Day one of camp fun just begun on today.
Good times. Good times. Um, dang, medals are heavy. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm good. This time of the year is always funny to me because everybody else, for the most part, is ending a season or in the off season or just about to start next season. I'm still trying to finish this season. We were in this boat last year, but this year you have a couple other obligations. So you've gotten to end one season and get ready for another. So
I
I
mean,
feel like I'm still in 2022. You know what I mean? Like I'm just,
oh, so I don't know if this is just me. Correct me if no one else has. I'm still getting confused on 2022 and 2023. And now I'm even confusing 2024 because I'm working in the recruiting class. So I'm like, wait, what?
yeah, there's too much overlap for sure.
So confused, so confused. But nonetheless, Athletics LLC remains the same, even when I post the show on time or late. But it's still the same. Yeah, dang recruiting gets me every time, every week. So, anyhow, besides life and practice and things that have been starting, we do have topics to cover tonight, gentlemen. So, I have a nicer version. You all will pick it apart as you should. But yes, track is back because why wouldn't you have things that go past your world championships? But it's a thing called the Diamond League circuit. And a lot actually, to me, I know we've talked about it a little bit, but like things are still happening at a high level, even though some things shouldn't. But let's pick it apart because you all have had choice words. And we've talked about it before, but even more so now that we have
I
like,
will I will simply start off because I know they're going to jump all over me, especially the EP. The I think the Diamond League final deserves its own conversation. It's coming up, right? But the Diamond League circuit meets that go on after the Super Bowl and the results that come from them are completely and utterly irrelevant. They're entertaining. I'm here to talk about them, but the results are irrelevant. And y'all go ahead and try to convince me otherwise. but go ahead.
Oh. Well, I'll jump in there and I'll say this for those who, because here's the thing, guys. Like we know exactly how this sport works. A lot of people, even people who are in college track, don't really know what we're talking about. So let me explain briefly. The way our sport worked by ways of calendar, the Super Bowl happens, and then usually the conference championships, and somewhere along the lines is like a big Monday Night Football game, right? Like it happens in that order. It never makes any sense. It used to, and I know that the governor and I are going to wax poetic and go on about this part. It used to be entertaining and newsworthy because it was the dash for the cash.
Yep.
And it was the redemption, I'm gonna steal your shine tour, right?
Yes.
So it's like you just won a world championship, and then basically it's like this: we're gonna pay you a bunch of money to come here, and then we're gonna invite other people to come and try to take your shot.
Yep.
So those meets were interesting, entertaining,
Yep.
and relevant.
Yep.
They are still mildly interesting. They are still partially entertaining. But let's be clear, they are 150% still relevant because we have these wonderful things called world rankings.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We have these wonderful, wonderful things called bonuses.
Yep.
And I would tell you, in most of the events in track and field, it is not quite all over but the crying.
Right.
Right. I think in most events we have, we'll say, the 10 people who are going to be world ranked in the top 10.
Yep.
But I would also say in most events the order is nowhere near finished.
Yeah.
The order is definitely not finished because of the chicanery that makes up the funny money math of world rankings. But when I say it's irrelevant, I mean that my phone starts to blow up when Carson Warholm gets beat by Kyron McMaster in the Diamond League race. And I have a whole thread on my phone about people telling me that it's a big deal, that it means something. And I'm like, I just left Europe. It's like 4 days later. You think Carson cares at all that he lost that race?
I mean,
No.
yes, he cares.
I mean, it's not relevant. And because I hadn't seen the race, what did I ask? I said, did somebody run like 46 flat?
He asked if you asked if somebody broke the world record.
That's right. Did somebody break the world record? Was it 46 flat? Oh, you mean the winning time was in the 47s? Oh, yeah, I really don't care. It's really not relevant. And now, if you go into the bowels of the internet, you have people literally debating the legitimacy of Carson Warholm's standing in the history of the sport based on him losing a race to Kyron McMaster at a Diamond League circuit meet. Like,
okay, but that's recency bias and stupidity.
Yes.
Yes,
that's what that is.
So
that's what that is.
And look, I feel like we're at a point in our sport where you have athletes that are being paid so much money that it means nothing to them other than to show up to run a warm-up race for their national trials, run at the trials, and run at the major championships and be done, right?
Sure.
We have that category. We have the next category of athletes that are just not quite there. They're trying to get that contract. They're trying to win races. They're trying to, get in whatever they can get into, for an opportunity to raise their profile. right? They're not getting the big parents' fees. You know, their contract is not to where they want it, and they need to raise their profile. So they need to run. And then you have the athletes that are literally waiting by the phone. They're literally
those are my favorites.
hey, is phone rings, agent says, hey, there's an empty lane in Bellinzona. I need you there tomorrow. Okay? And they're on a plane. They're jet lagged. They're not 100%, but damn it, they're going to race. Right? Because they're trying to get some skin in the game. They're trying to get, right? And the landscape has changed so much in our sport that when you talk about irrelevance, like the idea that you could not pay a Sydney or a Rye or any one of those athletes, you could not get that athlete to compete afterwards. Like, they're done, right? It's just, there is no incentive. So you have that situation where we've had 3 meets, right? Zurich, China, Bellinzona, Berlin. Berlin went off, right?
Yeah, Berlin, yeah.
All within a week, 8 days.
Yep. They're like
Yeah,
8 or
10
9
days or
days.
so.
Yeah.
Right.
So theoretically, a smorgasbord of track meets, and we're not talking about just any like podunk track meets. We're talking about Zurich, the granddaddy of them all.
I mean, Zurich is the biggest. Like, let's be clear. Historically, when you
Yes,
look at the results, Zurich probably has better results than 9 out of 10 Olympics and 7 out of 10 World Championships.
absolutely insane, right?
Now to be fair, that's also because Zurich is usually the Diamond League final.
It's usually
No.
It's
No.
usually the next meet after.
Oh,
World.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
So
So
you usually got everybody there
yep,
because they had the biggest purse. So they started with, you were guaranteed to be invited to Zurich if you had a medal.
if you had a medal. Yep.
Right.
So that means if you were a medalist or you just got a medal.
And your chances of getting in increased if you made the final. If you made the final, they wanted to have that final and run it over again, right? That's but like there were times where there was a charter waiting for you to get on to fly to Zurich.
Yeah.
So it's sad to me. It really is sad that we're at this point now where nobody really cares, you know, but yet we have to finish the season. And we still haven't even gotten to the Diamond League final. That's coming up. When does that meet?
Next week in Eugene.
Next week in Eugene.
Which
So,
Crazy.
and listen, I'm here for the Diamond League final. I got tickets. I'm going. Right? I care about the Diamond League final no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Because it's the Diamond League final. My issue is, okay, we lost the EP, so I'm trying to stretch this out a little bit. Hopefully get him back. My issue, it's like this, okay? We just watched Grant Holloway solidify his legacy and get his 3rd world championship.
Yes.
Now, we all know that Hansel Parchment is capable of beating Grant because he did it at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike the 400 hurdle race with Warholm, Parchment ran a time that's relevant. 12:96 for the win.
Yep.
We know he's capable of those things, and it's dope to watch. I'd rather watch that race while I was in Budapest. I didn't get to watch that race. I got to watch Grant separate from the field.
Yep.
So I don't care that Parchment put it together a week late. It's not relevant. It's good for him, and it shows his skill set and what he's capable of. But Grant's the 3-time world champion in a race that was a blowout for the field. So what do you want for that?
See, it used to matter. This is the thing. It used to matter. There was a point,
And it still does,
where the story was not.
Does it though?
The chapter was not written, right? because everybody knew that these meets were coming next, right? So you have the folks in Zurich or Brussels or Berlin that are looking forward to getting the best of the best to keep lining up.
No,
right?
no. I mean, listen, for as a fan of the sport and for entertainment purposes, I totally get it. Like, yes, if you tell me that the gold, silver, and bronze medalists from the World Championships are going to line up and race again, I'm here to watch it. I'll pay to watch it. I'm interested in the race.
Yes.
But other than bragging rights in that moment, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Because the real prize, the Super Bowl winner,
yes,
is the only thing I'm going to remember 6 months from now.
Right.
The Super Bowl winner is the only thing I'm going to talk about 2 years from now.
Yes.
When the build up to the Olympics, it's going to be defending world champion 3 times Grant Holloway, not, oh yeah, Hansel beat him 6 days later.
Right.
Like, who cares? Like, that's my.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I actually, for the most part, I think you're right. But I think in this particular case, you're wrong, because Hansel Parchment is kind of the only one that's beaten Grant more than once, right? And now you have the 3-time defending world champion versus the defending Olympic champion.
Yes, but that's the win that matters, not this one.
I understand that, but at least that particular event, that race it was relevant because it adds to the storyline. I understand what you're saying in general, right? Like, look, the fact that Carson Warholm lost is relevant. It's nowhere near as relevant as people are making it.
Yeah.
Right. If he had run 45.95 to do it, it would be truly relevant.
Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, it was a slip up. Right. Like, I came to get this bag. I pretty much buried everybody. So I didn't think anybody was going to really show up to race. So I didn't. And I lost. So there went my, 23 meet win streak. I'll just start another one.
So in my opinion, why isn't there more of a push to make the public aware that these two monsters are about to line up after Worlds? This meet actually means something. We've got something that we very rarely ever see, right? Like those the missed opportunities. Just call it.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely missed opportunities. And I'm interested to see, because the Diamond League final it is the first time that it's on American soil.
Yep.
That's exciting, but let's be real. That also means that there'll probably be more people that don't show up because they don't want to make the trip, right? So I'm interested to see who's actually going to line up and race. If you tell me that I'm going to get a replay of the women's 100-meter dash at the World Championships, only this time Sha'Carri's dead center of the track, I'm definitely here to watch that. And the results of it won't do anything to change the fact that Sha'Carri Richardson is the reigning world champion. But at least that's a race I want to see now. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, think of the possible, like, if athletes actually ran in the Diamond League series and actually lined up against each other. Think about the storyline of Carson Warholm coming to Eugene to line up against Rye, right? Like,
yes, I'm here for that.
Things
Only
like
I
that.
don't think Rye's running.
Yeah.
I feel like neither one of them are.
Well,
I don't think so either.
If Rye's not running, what's the value of Carson showing up?
That's the thing,
But that's why I really don't like our calendar, right? Because first off, we got cheated out of a meet because we're not going to have pre.
Yep.
Right? Like that, because we usually have pre and the Diamond League final, but they're one and the same this year, first off, right?
Sure.
Secondly, pre still has the all Nike athletes have to be there rule. So I'm not really sure how that's going to work in relation to the Diamond League final, right? And then lastly, like this year, probably more so than any, and I don't know if it's because it was so hot in Budapest or because the actual calendar was perfect for where World Championships was. It's not too early and wasn't too late. I think a lot of people are like, cool, off track right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I think the Budapest date like actually plays a role in this because I think it was like the right spot for the Super Bowl.
Well, and I agree with you, but only from an American-centric position, right? Because the minute that Budapest was over, everybody in this country's brain shifted to, so wait, when does football start?
Yeah.
And so
Sure.
half of our fan base are casual anyway, right? They're more concerned with the last preseason game that the Cowboys play than Diamond League races that are going on after the fact, right? And I'm talking about I'm being funny, but these are actual track coaches that I know are preoccupied with where the Cowboys are right now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I hope that the Diamond League final goes off well. Ironically, it's literally scheduled in Eugene on a football weekend for the Oregon Ducks.
Yes, Hawaii comes to town.
Right.
And the game starts at 7 on Saturday.
It's going to be an interesting juxtaposition to be there and experience all of that in real life, right? So but
where are people going to stay? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing.
Right. No, that's a real question.
Airbnb, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so little fumble on the planning of that consideration, right? But I think we all agree that in a perfect world, the powers that be, Diamond League wise, would always prioritize. So if McMaster beats Warholm the exact way he did at the exact place he did, and Worlds was in 3 weeks, now that race means something.
Storyline,
now,
everything. Yeah.
Now we're here.
Yep.
After the Super Bowl?
Doesn't matter.
Who cares?
You're talking about Frankie beating Michael right before Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, you had something to talk about leading into the Super Bowl, right? Like,
and it's not like McMaster's a scrub. He's like, what, number 6 all time?
Yes.
He's very good.
Yes. Now, how about this? How about this? So you plan to stay outside of town? Well, Oregon State has a game at 2:30.
Wow.
They do.
Yeah.
They're playing San Diego State.
I think though, like, this is the worst part about all this, and then we probably need to let you put the show back on the rails. But everybody who does the sport and everybody who covers the sport are actually in agreement that World Championships would be best served, as would the Olympics, as the crown jewel of the year, and that be the end. But the people governing the sport will never let that happen, because that would then make Diamond League final and world rankings relatively irrelevant.
Yep.
And that's why it won't. That's why it won't happen.
It's all the numbers game.
That is why it won't happen, right? World rankings are irrelevant if they're going to basically be 1 through 8 at World Championships.
Yeah.
And if it's the last meet and it's the Super Bowl and it's all those things, that's what it would be.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It is.
It is a fixable solution, though. But to your point, no one who could fix it wants to fix it. So
it's an easily fixed situation. Make World Championships the end of September or the 3rd week of September every year.
Every year. Then
every single meet fits before it.
I mean, the feast of storylines leading up to that meet. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason that Zurich garnered the reputation, the Weltklasse reputation, is because of where it is. Yeah. It was always the week
Yes.
after World Championships.
The rematch.
Always. It was the rematch.
Yeah.
Right.
And we can pay for it, right? We can pay for that whole entire field to show up and do it again.
All right. Well, moving on from one chicanery, as dang metals like to say, on to the next. Week 1 of college football.
This has to be
It
one
was
of
tough in
Clyde's
Fort Worth.
favorite weekends ever.
You know, I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I swear to God, when I knew we were gonna do this topic, I totally forgot that Chu works at TCU. It didn't even register.
I didn't. I didn't.
They
It's
unveiled their
painful.
banner. They unveiled
Yeah.
their Final Four banner. It was a huge, huge, momentous occasion. And some of the, oh my gosh.
Yeah, Chewy, talk to us about how Saturday
Yes, please.
Texas.
Well, okay. So I'll be honest with you. I stopped listening to all the after conversation. Like,
Yeah, because it's hyperbolic as well.
well, and I'll say this. Okay. Sanders did a great job at QB. He did. But we made him look even better. We looked like we were running in quicksand. How do you not wrap up? Like after all the practices and drills that I've seen that our players do, like one-arm tackles are not a thing. Like you hear that from Pop Warner, high school, collegiate. One arm, you're just not that good. Maybe you are, but on the whole, right? And then, you know, I'm big on details. So I'm watching the coverages off the ball, off the target. And I'm like, you were so lucky the ball didn't go in that direction. Like complete coverages are missed. And so I'm just saying this is not a personal attack on the gentleman. You know, it is what it is. It's week 1. I'm not like this isn't how I really feel, but I was in my feelings and with the loss, of course. But I'm like, our QB cannot hold the ball as long as he does. You are not tall enough to see when objects become closer to you and block your line of vision. Get rid of the ball.
That's so funny.
But it's so true, right? Like I literally just
You're
gave that
not
visual.
wrong. It's not wrong. It ain't the question I asked, but that was better. So
Yes.
here's
Anyways, so I was not happy about the weekend at all. That is how I feel about it. I lose poorly.
so here's I have a very nuanced take on that particular game, which was hilarious to me. See, I know that I irritate people when I talk, and that's fine. I'm actually here for it. I do it on purpose most of the time. But somehow people find a way to misquote me terribly. What I have been saying ever since Prime took the job at Colorado was, we're going to see how good he can coach now, because the Jackson State experiment doesn't tell me that. What they did, the way that they did it, for better or for worse, for short term or for long, validated everything that he's been saying. The kids played well. They were well prepared. They seemed to be out scheming the TCU crew. And I love the irony that the worst roster, AKA the worst team a year ago in the now dead Pac-12, spoiled the Big 12's of their reigning champions at home week 1. I'm so here for that narrative. If the Pac-12 is dead, and it is, at least they're going to die and take some heads on the way out. So I'm here for that. I found the game very entertaining. You know, I'm not rooting for or against Colorado, but I am always rooting for what? Chaos. And the best dose of chaos I could have got in week 1 was not the Buffaloes covering the spread, which they clearly did, but it was winning outright. So I assure you, I had a lot of fun with that one. And I'm so here for it. Even though you all understand that now, whatever you thought of Prime, if you thought he was irritating now, it's only gonna go up. And I'm here for that too.
My favorite thing about Prime has always been his Muhammad Ali-ness. He has always talked and walked.
Yep.
But I will tell you what has become my favorite thing about Coach Prime is that man. I have this meme in my phone that said there's no statute of limitations on disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
That man keeps receipts.
Yes.
Listen. People who don't know the story don't understand this. One of the beat writers that he undressed after the game was a guy that had disparaging remarks to make about Prime in 1997.
Yep.
He had disparaging remarks to make about Prime as a football player almost 30 years ago. And I'm like, yes. The man keeps receipts. And I will just say, like, immediately following the game, obviously I was disgusted. I mean, look, I'm not like the world's biggest TCU fan, but like I'm here, right? I got rooting interest. I wanted them to win the game. Not because I think they're great, but I was so disgusted after the game because, and you guys all know me well, like, look, I'm here for greatness. But what I'm never here for is when mediocre is being served up as greatness, right?
Yes.
This is not hating on Colorado. But the three people who should have been jobless immediately following that game are both teams' defensive coordinators and the quarterback at TCU. Now, I know he's a child and, he played poorly and okay, but this is what I'm saying to you. Look, what can't be lost. TCU scored 42 points. They scored 6 touchdowns with 2 fumbles inside the 10. Colorado can't stop a nosebleed.
Oh, no.
Right?
Listen, Prime has assembled a proper Big 12 team. No defense whatsoever.
Yes. And so Colorado hanging up 45, like that just means that the score should have been like 50-45 and a L. The fact that TCU managed to snatch a loss from the jaws of victory just made the story better, right? And I'm here for that and all the chaos and the primeness. But I actually have seen people who think they can actually pontificate about football talking about Colorado going to the playoff. I'm like, listen.
Hello.
Hey, there's a high school team in Texas that can score 45 on Colorado.
Hey, listen. Now, see, this is where I get to go back to the original. You know why that is, sir? And I will never, if we're going to do college football for the whole season like we do, I will be holding Colorado and Coach Prime to the standard that he set.
Yes.
He said we are here to dominate and immediately.
Yep.
Yeah.
He said
now.
Yes.
Yep.
We are not coming.
Yep.
We are
here. We're here. Right.
So,
and he's not hard to find.
He's not hard to find. So it's dope that he beat the best team in the Big 12 before he gets to the Big 12. I'm so here for that. But last I checked, you got to run through Utah, UCLA, USC, Oregon, who just put up 81 points on somebody. Okay. So all I'm saying is that for 20 years, the Pac-12 has been the hardest division to go undefeated in.
Yep.
And Prime and the whole Pac-12 are now undefeated. So we going to find out because they're going to beat Nebraska. They're going to beat Nebraska and they're going to win week 3 as well.
Woo!
And then we get to find out what it is.
Here we go. Because that's the USC game, right? The USC game?
Yeah, I'm going 6-5, 7-4 on Colorado.
Yeah, but that smells and sounds about right. But I will say this: it is very clear that TCU's defense has a humongous problem.
Oh, no question.
Right? Because this weekend looked like a Sonny Dykes team from La Tech. Lots of points and no defense. Because people who understand football understand this stat. If you throw for 510 yards and you have no turnovers, you barely got stopped ever.
Yes.
And they did.
Yes.
But there
So
was
so let's put this out there. Okay. TCU, Clemson, Florida, LSU, Baylor. Who should be worried the most based on
About
what just happened in week 1?
About
Honestly,
being fired?
No,
What's
it
that?
just means about the teams.
Yes.
I'm going to say a tie between LSU and Clemson. LSU because of the conference they play in and the side they play in.
Yep.
Right. And Clemson because, like, listen, you can't have three turnovers inside the 10-yard line against
the
Duke.
10-yard line. Yep.
It just can't happen.
I'm going. So okay. When I'm telling you, like, this was like the best chaos weekend ever. Like, I'm so thrilled. I always look at it like, how embarrassing was your L? And that is, of course, the label that you are given, the label that you lost to. Clemson lost to a basketball school.
Okay, but they're not. But that wasn't the worst loss of the week.
No, it wasn't.
Because the worst loss of the week also happened in the Big 12, but nobody paid attention because it wasn't hyped up. Baylor lost to Texas State.
Lost to Texas
that's exactly where I was going. The worst loss was Baylor. So
they lost to a directional state that's a baseball school.
Yeah.
So listen, the state of Texas, who fancies themselves as the football mecca of the world, looked pretty bad this week. Looked pretty bad. So, I mean, again, I found the Baylor loss to be hilarious. Again, yay, Big 12. But for me, the one that I actually enjoyed, the one that I had the most personal back and forth banter with, was actually the Florida Utah. Because last year, including on this show, Utah's been arguably the best team in the Pac-12 for a very long time, a few years. Okay,
they have really quick. They have the number 5 home record over the last 5 years.
Yep,
in college football.
That's right. And they had to travel to the Swamp last year and barely lost the game. Yep. And our colleague who is not here had his chest poked out and was talking trash. And I'm like, hey man, the travel actually matters. No, I don't want to hear that. Pac-12, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, wait till they venture to the mountain.
We talked about this last year. That absolutely happened. That's right. And the game wasn't necessarily close on the mountain now, was it?
It was not.
So again, for those, this is the last year that anybody gets to hate on the Pac-12 because it doesn't exist anymore. The reason that the Pac-12 is difficult, people, is because you have desert schools and city schools and mountain schools and Pacific Northwest schools. And all that stuff is difficult. Ironically, every time the SEC comes out west, no matter where they come, seems to be a problem, which is why they don't come out very often. So I enjoyed watching the Gators go down in flames on the mountain. The Swamp doesn't travel well out west.
Oh man. I mean, I will never forget my time at Texas and what BYU did to Texas 2 years in a row.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Like, it was like, oh my gosh.
Provo, Utah is one of the hardest places to play sports.
Yeah.
If you are not from there.
Yep.
It just is. Yep. It's insanely difficult to get to And then once you get there, you're there. And you're like, none of this is good. It's like Corvallis.
Yeah.
It takes you forever to get there. And then when you finally unload the truck, you're like, where are we?
That's right.
And the worst,
Oh, boy.
and the worst, can you ask anybody, and I mean anybody that participated in sports in the West Coast, there's nothing worse than the Palouse. Pullman,
Really?
Washington
That's right.
Pullman, Washington is the worst.
Listen, all these people that are like in their feelings about, oh, the student athletes have to these crazy travel schedules now that they're in the Big 10 and the Big 12 and the ACC. Hey, listen, travel's not that much worse because you can't fly into these places. Okay, you can fly to Eugene and drive. You can fly to Portland and drive. Traveling to Wazoo, traveling to Oregon State isn't fun. It's not cool. Going from Seattle to Phoenix isn't exactly a cakewalk. So the travel's all the same. So what's the difference? It's fine.
Oh man.
We'll all just meet in Dallas.
Well,
Right.
I cannot wait for that Colorado-Nebraska game. It's going to be one of the most watched college games of the season without question. And you know, it's interesting because in a very strange way, Nebraska fans and Texas fans kind of have this parallel universe that they're in where they really think that they're better. And I mean, I'm talking just over the years.
For sure.
They start off the year with these expectations that are so off the rails. And then they get dog smacked and they're like, oh, something's wrong. Like, what's going on? Like the fact that after Texas won that game at Rice, folks were just like, man, like we didn't beat them enough. Like something's not, we're going into Alabama next week. I didn't get that sense.
Not a good cushion.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't
mean,
feel it wasn't a romp. We didn't just run over them, you know? And we're going
they're scared to play Alabama, whose entire secondary is hurt.
Yeah.
But they're still like, I don't know. And I keep saying this, and you know what? I'm sure I'm gonna get some hate emails, and it is what it is. I actually can't wait until next year when Oklahoma and probably Texas just evaporate into witness protection in the middle to the bottom third of the SEC in football.
Oh, well, listen, absolutely. And let me say this, because I said this in a side conversation earlier yesterday. The evaporation of the Pac-12 now has Pac-12 teams in the Big 10, the ACC, and the Big 12, right? Mark my words, people. A former Pac-12 team will win one of those conferences.
Oh my gosh.
Before any Texas school wins another one.
Wow.
Oh, you know what's crazy is I don't even think he's wrong. Usually I'm not pro Clyde in his prognostications. I think this one might be spot on. Listen, my alma mater is the University of California, and I told somebody this 2 days ago. Cal in the ACC is a gigantic problem because the ACC is way more winnable in every sport for Cal than it was in the Pac-12.
Yes.
Every sport.
Yeah. This is true.
That's not a diss to the ACC. People know their conferences, but when you've worked in every conference but the SEC, you end up knowing more about these things than most.
Yeah.
And I am telling you, there are some Pac-12 schools that travel well. And now look, you have no home field advantages if you're in the Bay Area. Everybody loves being there. It's beautiful. It ain't whatever. But when ACC schools have to go out west and come to the Bay, and they're like, "What is all this traffic? And how do y'all live here? And there's $12 million home." Yeah,
Yep.
It's gonna be different.
True.
All right, moving on. So, revisiting this every couple weeks, it pops up. Coaching carousel. It's still spinning.
Ew, boy.
Once again, we are now officially in September, and it is still spinning.
Hey, it's still spinning in the major places.
Yep.
The P5 carousel is on fire.
So, I mean, the fact that, I mean, so what haven't we discussed? Have we talked about new hire at Kentucky?
Yeah,
hire.
Marvin.
Yes.
Congrats to Marvin Gibson.
Yep. Congrats to Marvin Gibson, new hire at Arkansas. Congrats to Boogie Johnson heading to work with his brother.
The brothers Johnson.
The brothers Johnson.
I mean, listen, whether that works good, great, bad, whatever, like I will say this. I am applauding the fact that it's happening because it is at least kind of awesome to be able to take over a really, really high level college program, be able to hire your brother, and both of you are working at your alma maters. Like that's kind of cool.
That's
right. I hope the story turns out good, but
yeah,
but on like on the day, it's an incredible story.
That's lightning striking twice in the same place. That's pretty amazing. Right. Pretty amazing. What else?
Did we mention Maury?
Maury Turner at
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
And Michelle Freeman at
USC.
UCLA.
Yes, and because the internet is weird, people. Michelle Freeman has gone to UCLA is not Michelle Freeman that is the Team USA female relay coach.
Yes.
Those are different people.
Oh my God. Jeez, people.
Oh no, a real conversation, multiple.
Oh boy. Different
people. Just use the Google. It's not hard.
Ask Siri.
So you're talking about Clemson and Oklahoma looking for sprint coaches in September.
Yes, and unless they've already identified them, they will get hired in October.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a new era that we're in. This is a new territory we're playing in. There are no rules. There are no, I mean that the whole idea that I'm going to get my staff together, get them ready to get on the road, by the end of USA championships, yada yada, doesn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore.
Well, and you could, but there still stands to be movement after.
Yeah.
There's no getting ready anymore. Like ready isn't a thing; it's a figure.
So we'll be talking about this through January, February of next year.
Yep.
Right. Hey, some of this may not be filled until that time.
New hire at NAU?
Yeah,
has that been announced?
Yes,
it was announced today.
Today. Yep.
Wait a minute. Well, what is it? I haven't seen it. I'm Googling it right now.
No, look at your phone.
Look at the group chat.
Yes.
Wait.
Oh, y'all being funny. I didn't know that for real.
That is so funny. So
that's why I didn't want to say anything. I saw it earlier this morning.
Put it in there. Oh, that's hilarious.
Okay, well, hey, shout out to my guy. Congratulations on the part. Landing at NAU.
Yep.
Northern Arizona, Alan Dunsing did a hell of a job, and he's obviously off to VTech. NAU got themselves one hell of a coach. That's dope. Congrats.
Yes,
I did not know. Y'all thought I was playing. I didn't know that.
I was like, awkward.
Oh gosh.
Y'all are funny. That's really funny.
I mean, we're still waiting for you to get off the carousel.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best.
Oh man. Yeah, I still feel like there's one of those, like, because Virginia still has to hire two coaches.
Yeah.
right? Like, and okay, Arkansas doesn't have to hire another coach, but all right, let just play this out. Arkansas operated last year with an extra coach. He was the throws coach on the men's side, right?
Yep.
He leaves to go to Vanderbilt,
Vanderbilt.
right? And then Arkansas's women hire a fourth coach. So I can't be the only one that is expecting for Arkansas's men to hire a fourth coach at some point, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
So this is what I'm saying is like, I think there's still like a couple of major things to happen in the coaching carousel. Like, I think there's like $10 worth of quarters still to go in this bad boy.
Agreed.
Somebody's going to get hired in December at the convention.
There you go.
So you're saying we got to be at the convention. Got it.
Yeah, I'm going. It's been decided. I'm going.
Cool. Drink your water. Put on your lotion.
Where are we going? I don't even know where the convention is.
Colorado.
Colorado.
again.
Colorado again.
Oh, I think the only thing worse than having to go all the way out to Colorado in the wintertime again is that the annual meeting, which I also have to go to, is back in Orlando again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that combination last year was awful.
I'm sure.
Colorado to Orlando just is guaranteed getting sick. Again.
Sunshine and snow.
Hey, but I will say that Colorado was a lovely backdrop for the Spades tournament.
I knew he was going to say
Oh
that.
my God.
And we are most definitely, here for year 2. So
Yeah.
Oh, I still have the spreadsheet, so it'll be easily played. That's funny. Oh my God. That's going to come in a blink of an
Hopefully I'll be heading home finally for the first time in 4 years. So you guys enjoy the snow and fun.
You'll just send us pictures of the clear water.
Absolutely.
Dang it.
Yep.
No, you gotta send the world a picture from Stingray Bay.
All right. Not a problem.
All right. Last topic. Most entertaining for the day, for sure. I've definitely watched this video 1,002 times. Lindon versus Fred in the 1500.
Okay, I'm gonna leave y'all to explain this to me. This seems like an
You haven't seen it yet?
You haven't seen this?
This feels like an incredibly stupid debate. I don't see any way that Lindon could beat Fred in a 1,500 meter run.
Well, first of all, the fact that it's Fred and the amount of nonsense he talks, right? You add to it that Fred and Lindon are best friends and former college roommates, and they talk smack to each other on a regular basis. But what pushed it over the top was two things. One, the existence of both Fred's and Marcel Jacobs's camera crews that caught the whole thing, and Marcel Jacobs acting as the hype man for said argument.
Yep.
There's a reason that this thing now is working on 2 million views.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh no, Marcel Jacobs makes the video. Like
he's light skin.
He makes the video
because he's trying to put on his best accent. You could tell he's trying so hard. But no, I'm here for it. I love it. So it's a steak dinner. Is that what
it came down to a steak dinner?
Steak dinner.
1,500. We need lights, cameras. We need the whole nine. We need.
I'm telling you,
streaming platform.
I said we're gonna do it at TCU.
Mm-hmm.
I will put it on the gram on Instagram
YouTube live or something.
I will do all of that. We will do all of it. I am ready for it.
What I need it to do is I need it to be included in the British sports book. because what I need is odds.
Odds.
Well,
Okay.
and so I don't know if you guys saw Chris Richardson had tagged both USATF and DraftKings in his reposting of said video and was like,
Smart,
put it
smart.
on the line, make it happen. You
No,
know,
look, I mean, y'all work with the kid. I need y'all to explain to me how he could win that race because I don't see it.
so tell me why you think that Fred.
So you think Fred is going to win this race?
Yeah, that's what he
Easily.
said.
Easily.
Why? So why though? Like, let me explain why you got there, because
Okay,
obviously we have a bias.
So
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead,
tell you
Fred.
why I got there. Because I have watched, it's twofold. I watched Lindon run a 1500 for a medal, and Christopher Huffins is one of his coaches. So
Yes.
I feel like Fred can just can jog behind him for 3/4 laps and then just beat him to the line. I feel like that's possible.
So the funniest part about that is how many people think that what you just said is A, true, or B, like easy to do. Let me put it to you this way. We had a conversation about this in practice today, and LV asked me, well, how would you instruct me? I was like, it doesn't matter. I was like, we could play with Fred. We could go out hard and then relax. We could just go out the first 10 meters and get Fred all hyped up and then just hop right in behind him and run behind him for 1,200 meters. Because let me be clear, as great of an athlete as Fred is and thinks he has never been 1,200 meters into anything. And I'm telling you, listen, that kick looks super easy to do. And I'll just say, running a 1,500 without nine events in front of it is actually relatively easy for somebody who's been doing it with 9 events in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So my only argument with that is that from what I've seen, Fred does a lot of lactic work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's, and the videos that I've seen, I mean, obviously, whether he's over in Australia early season, in Grenada, stuff like that. But there's still the issue of what would his plan be?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not gonna matter. Like, it's not the same as, well, when I get to 600, I'm just gonna take off.
Yeah.
You take off and you still have
a lot.
900
meters.
still 900 to go, right? So it's intriguing from that standpoint. I agree 100% that a fresh decathlete running the 1,500 is definitely not what we see on our big screens at World Championships.
Day
or
2.
No. So I want to see it happen, man. I want to see it happen.
Oh, it's happening.
Somebody needs to put up a big pot, and like, it could take on a life of its own, in my opinion.
I mean, think about it. If we collect, because it was said all in the comments of the video and whatnot on the various postings, repostings. Fred calls for a G. All the decathletes are like, "Yo, we don't got a G like that." Like, we can't.
I mean, yeah,
throw a G out there like that.
That's a substantial amount
That's
of
a
a
whole ass
decathlete's
win.
yearly service.
So, I mean, but if each decathlete, regardless of country, association, whatever, just puts in $5, and then every sprinter that wants to back up Fred puts in $5, that's a suitable pot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like we can make that happen. Got any as collegians, so medals, that's on you. But anyways, I mean, please believe, if this is really going to be a thing, I'm wanting to make it happen at TCU, because that's feasible, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's a thing that we can do. So
I
don't know.
think that this whole argument is laughable, and I am here for every single ounce of it.
Gosh, yes.
I'm here for all of the sprinter bravado and the because Fred ran 43 seconds back in the day. I know I'm not saying he can't do it now, right? But because Fred ran 43 seconds, that has any relevance to the 1500.
I know that. I saw that a number of times and I'm like, 43 plus 43 plus 43 plus what? If you're just going linear.
First of all, let me be clear. Notice I didn't bring up the 43. Right? And about that. I said it's because Huffins is his coach. And no, here's where Lindon fumbled the bag though. Because it was Fred that threw out the $1,000.
Yep.
In that moment, Lindon should have been savvy enough to be like, hold on. No. But since you got the big contract and you throwing out the big money, let's put up some 4-1 versus 3-1 on the dollars. And let's go get it.
Yeah.
But LV will never lose $1 if he can make that happen. He'll lose some food. He'll lose some food. He won't lose some money. No way.
These people don't understand how hungry decathletes are.
Well, it's so funny. I brought it up at our combined events practice today, and I'm like, of course we know our dog. And of course we're behind our dog, because then that's ultimately also a reflection on us. But I was like, no chance, it's happening. Lindon's winning. But I love, honestly, so on the grander scheme of things, of less the banter, you've got to love what it's stirred up.
Mm-hmm.
And these two are savvy enough to stir it up. Of course, and there is that competition is real. Don't get it twisted. That is a real competition. They've had already 5 phone calls regarding this said 1500.
Yes.
Definitely, right? But it's healthy. It's completely healthy. There was no belittling. There was no
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
dude, the Olympic 100-meter champion was the hype man for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great.
It was great.
What was so funny, I thought, of course, again, we know who our people are. Lindon was very cognizant of the words that he was using. You could hear the wheels spinning. Fred doing, I assume, the same. I've heard them converse. Fred doing the same. Lindon's American accent came out. Fred's pseudo-Caribbean accent came out. I saw it in the comments about that. And you already made comment about Marcel. So I think it's amazing. It was fun. Very fun to watch. And I thoroughly laughed at 8:15 this morning. So
I think the undercard to that needs to be the challenge that was thrown out that people stopped talking about, which was the 100-meter race between Mondo and Shelly Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, someone said that in the comments. So what happened to that race?
I need that to be the undercard.
That's funny.
I need that. Schmeed it.
Oh my goodness. Well, for the sake of time, I'm going to bump us to heartbeat props, because we've kind of skipped over that for a little while now. But let's recognize some people who are deserving of recognition while they're here to be recognized.
I'll go first. I want to send my heartbeat props out to all of the wonderful people of what is now my second nation, all of the wonderful people of Grenada. It is a welcome feeling to be an American and watch an entire country fawn over a medal. To have incredible appreciation for a medal, no matter what color, right? As Americans, we tend to gloss over any medals that aren't Olympic gold.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that, the outpouring has been just insane for a bronze medal at World Championships, and the understanding of how difficult that is to win and how awesome it was for it to happen, you know, new area record and all those other things. It's just been awesome. So, you know, my heartbeat props for sure go out to all of the wonderful and awesome people of the Nutmeg Island.
I want to give my heartbeat props to my incoming freshmen. The experience day one of Camp Fun. It never gets old to see when a group of high schoolers, a group of even transfer kids,
Yeah.
they go through a thorough, detailed warm-up. And they're
And it's
looking
not
at
the
me
workout.
and they're like, what are we doing? Like, why am I bent over and we're halfway through? Like,
The warm-up.
the warm-up.
Yes. Halfway through the warm-up.
Heartbeat props to my incoming freshman class. It only gets worse from here.
It's only uphill from here.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Oh man. Real quick, I just wanted to give heartbeat props out to Miss Sarah Macy. She was my head coach for Throat Cup this summer. She made my first experience a great one. She was a great leader through the hard decisions and even just showing the ropes and the conversations that we had in order to solidify the wins that we did in Marburg. I haven't been able to say this one out loud just because of circumstances. Nothing bad. But heartbeat props to you, Miss Sarah Macy. You're amazing. You're awesome. Good stuff. And have fun at BU this summer or this year. Just kidding. Thanks. Clyde, on you, sir.
Heartbeat props to the Pac-12.
Oh, God.
Again. Again.
Heartbeat props to the Pac-12.
Oh
Baby
man.
Jesus.
If I remember correctly, no conference has ever gone undefeated in the opening week in college football ever. Y'all can say what you want, but all of these people feel minorly disrespected. And if you're gonna go out with a bang. Continue to cause chaos.
Oh
Continue to
man.
piss people off. At the end of the day, only one person got a shot to win the thing, right? So I don't care who it is. I don't care if it ends up being Oregon, USC, UCLA, or somehow, some way, Colorado, Utah, right? I don't care who it is, but I really hope that somehow, some way, in their last year of existence, somebody can actually run the gauntlet and end up undefeated. And it would be poetic justice for the Conference of Champions to go out as a champion. So somebody don't fumble the bag. Somebody.
Stop it. Anyhow.
Y'all already fumbled the bag, Chewy. It's over.
I know. That's why I can say it. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. It was a fun episode. Good stuff. Good follow-up to our World Champs recap because everybody seemed to like it. But other than that, have a great week and we'll see each other soon. Bye, everyone.